we are here with Valeras. Welcome to Bristol, guys.
Thank you.
Would you like to go around the room, introduce yourselves and your roles in the band?
Yeah, sure. I'm Katie and I play rhythm guitar.
I'm Rose and I sing and I play the bass.
I'm George and I play lead guitar.
I'm Max and I play drums.
Not the first time to Bristol.
No.
Not the first time playing in this venue either, I believe. You're kind of old hats at Louisiana now, are you?
Yeah.
We like it.
Do you ever get a chance to sort of look around the city at all? Do you get out and about in Bristol, or not really? Is it
we
just kind
walked
of
to the
in,
corner
playing
shop.
out?
Yeah.
And I've been here a few times like, off my own accord because it's just so amazing. Been to Rough Trade for an album release, things like that.
Yeah, Rough Trade's really cool, actually. Yeah, the performance area in there is really good.
Yes.
It is a really beautiful city. Yeah.
So, in terms of 2019, it's not been a bad year, has it, for you guys? I think some of the sort of gambits that we've picked up, championed by BBC Introducing, by Annie Mac, by Jack Saunders, Radio 1 set Made of Val as well, in the bag already as well, and featured fairly heavily on Spotify, and now headlining a UK tour.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Not a bad year. What's been the highlight personally?
I think we had the best summer festival season. It was amazing. We've did the most festivals that we've ever done ever. So I think Siget was definitely a good highlight for us.
Hungary?
Yeah. Mad Cool Madrid, that was amazing. Obviously Reading and Leeds. But yeah, just doing all these gigs is just still being able to do it is a highlight every time. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and taking it back for people that aren't familiar with you guys.
So we got together in 2013, but we were under a different band name.
Okay,
So,
Area 52?
Area 52,
Yeah.
Well, we'll cut that out.
We were only young.
No, it was fresh. It was awesome. We started out as friends and now we're not. Now we're family. We changed our name. We changed our name in I think it was, I think Max knows all the dates to everything really. I don't know, when was it?
For Valeras?
Yeah.
It's 2017, yeah.
2017.
So it's when we started
Okay.
Valeras, yeah.
So it's Area 50, is that kind of purged and in the background? Are you still sort of, that's what we've done, it's part of our history, we're proud.
Yeah, no, it's where it came
Yeah,
from,
definitely.
We were talking about this the other day. I definitely say we've been together 6 years. 'Cause
Yeah.
we
6
really
years.
have.
What was behind the name change, and where did the name Valeras come from?
Well, I think the when we were Area 52, we were quite young, and I think we were kind of struggling to get people to take us seriously, and I think we weren't really happy with the name. We wanted something that represented us more and represented the sound of our music. So we wanted something nice and something that we could hear and not yeah. So I was looking up city names from the country where I was born and raised, which is Venezuela, and there's a city name called Valera, so we just added an S and called ourselves Valeras.
That'll do, that works. And 2017 was also, I think that was the year your first EP, Knives and Flowers. I know it's only 2 years, but do you feel like from the EP to where you guys are now that you guys have maintained a consistent sound, or has it matured with you, or where do you feel you are now musically compared to when that first EP came out?
I'd hope both. I don't think they're exclusive. Yeah, I don't think we've got quite. I think we've got quite a consistent catalogue. It's quite a consistent sound. But I like to think that we're maturing, especially now in the last sort of 6 months since we started writing in the summer. I think our sound's matured, but yeah, we're sort of slowly progressing.
It's a consistent sound, but there's quite a lot thrown into the mix, isn't there? It's a bit of a melting pot of sort of genres, because I mean, even myself, I'm by no means an expert, be thrown in some rock, some emo, some Latin, some R&B even is kind of chucked into the mix there as well. Is that something that you've aimed to do, or is that just something that's naturally happened because of your own musical tendencies anyway?
It's completely natural. I think it's for us is what comes naturally, the fact that we all listen to different kinds of genres. Like, none of us here listen to one genre, none of us listen to just rock or just this. Like, we all literally listen to everything, and like, for us naturally, for 4 creative people, we just like naturally just write stuff that has a lot of elements in it. But it is a thing of like, you know, people are like, oh, you know, you need to have like a certain sound, like a certain thing that makes you, which is like,
why?
Yeah, right. Like for us, if it comes natural and we enjoy making it and playing it, then that's what's most important.
It's great as well for you guys not being, like say, not being pigeonholed as well, because it gives you so much room for development.
Right.
And nobody is going to pin you down to a genre. So if you want to go off and do an EP that's more sort of towards the rock, more sort of a Latin sort of flavour, then you've
So I
got
guess
you've
it's
got
like
to
what
do
we're doing
it.
at the moment, especially
Yeah.
with this set. We're definitely dipping our toes in loads of different things.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So you first came to my attention, it's probably about 8 months ago, 9 months ago, with Intentions. That's done fairly well for you, hasn't it? I think it's something like 15,000 views or something now on YouTube. You must be really stoked with how that sort of the notoriety and things from the track.
We definitely like the video for that one. It was quite a natural process as well for the video. Like, it was just like, we got a venue, we were like on the spot, just like thinking, right, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna make this a thing? And it was really cool. It worked out really well because we liked the outcome. So
Yeah.
it's cool. We're glad that people like it as well.
How much creative control do you guys have over things like the videos and the merch? Is that still fairly you at the moment, or?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We like to have control over that visual stuff because like it is part of it. Like, a band is not just sound, and I mean nowadays, like, I mean George is very like he does a lot of like graphic design. George, he's actually like done all the artwork basically, like apart from Knives and Flowers. So we like to have control over that stuff, and even photography and videos as well. Like we have a big part of videos. So.
Which is really cool, because that's the next thing I was going to ask you about. So the new single, Playing With A Gun, not only is it one of my favourite tracks in the last 3 months, because it's just jammed into my head and it's on permanent play on my iPod at the moment. The video is
it's cool,
amazing.
Isn't it?
It's really, really cool. For anybody who hasn't seen it, it's like you guys have been locked into a 1980s video game.
Say you wanna get to know me, get this urgence, but all you want is fun. But you should know, playing with love, it's like playing with a gun.
So yeah, highly recommend people watch it. Who came up with the concept for that one?
I'll tell you what, that video was probably the one that it was the least our idea.
Yeah.
To be fair, the whole thing came from the fact that after we finished recording Playing With A Gun, and every time I heard the solo, I could just hear like, it sounds ridiculous, but you know, sometimes on YouTube you're like, oh, trippy videos, and like, and I could just picture like the Playing With A Gun solo being like that. Cause I could just hear it, like I could just see it, like, you know, the solo's quite like melty, so I really wanted an animation video so badly, and I was like, yeah, that was the one song where I was like, it needs to happen. And then when we got in touch with the director, who's really, really awesome, Callum Scott, and we had a lot of interests, like similar interests, like I really love Scott Pilgrim. It's one of my favourite films ever.
Okay.
And he really liked it as well. So we have a lot of like Scott Pilgrim references in there as well. So
yeah.
It came together really, really
Moving on and going on to the headline tour. So 5 dates. Last night was the first one in Southampton. Obviously Bristol this evening. Where next?
So we've got Bedford on Thursday, and then we've got London on Friday, and then Reading on Saturday.
Yeah, so finishing with the hometown gig.
Yeah,
Nicely done.
It'll be good, yeah.
Do you miss home when you sort of go out on the road, or is it a case that you tend to basically just go back after every night?
We love touring. To be fair, this one's quite a small run, so it's not like we don't really get the chance to miss home. When there's like the February tour was really long, and we all missed our mums a bit. But no, I mean we love this. We love getting to do it like as often and consistent as possible. So I didn't really think we missed it that much.
Writing and recording or playing live?
I know what you were gonna say.
Yeah, we've definitely hammered this out.
I love both. We haven't recorded in ages, so that's what I'm. We've done a lot of writing, we've done a lot of gigging. I'm excited to get back to the studio, but I do genuinely enjoy every part of it,
Yeah, we all really,
Massively.
yeah, we all love every part of it.
especially if it's in like nice little chunks.
Yeah, and especially if we're all together.
So, putting out the singles at the moment, is there any plan for a further EP or an album in the works, or are you happy just throwing out the singles every as and when you can at the moment?
There is an album. There's definitely like an album looming on the horizon for us. I think we definitely like see it as building up to a first album.
Yeah.
Or we still think in that kind. Maybe it's
Yeah.
old fashioned, but we still definitely think in that kind of.
It's weird, from all the bands that I've interviewed, it is a 50-50 split. You've got a lot of the bands that say no, singles are the way to go, and that's what we're going to focus on because people haven't got the attention span nowadays to cope with an album. And they've got the other guys going, no, this is what we're in it for. We like the storytelling of an album. We like it. So yeah, it's very much a 50-50 split at the moment.
It's a goal. For
It's
us.
building it up to get to, because for us as well, it's like the album is very important. It's like we really nowadays we will sit in George's house and put on a record and like do nothing but sit and listen because like we want to feel like we're respecting the music that people took time and created, and for us it's really important. So we definitely are trying to build it up to get people to listen to it, because I do think, single until people like listening, and then you can tell them the story. So it depends really on the crowd.
Yeah, I think it's definitely age orientated as well.
Yeah.
Sort of from my perspective, I'm albums all the way, always have been. But yeah, sort of if you were to talk to my daughter who's 21, I don't think she's ever bought one. I don't think she's bought an album.
Say like, oh yeah, Thriller was my first album.
I will not tell you what my first album
What
was
was it?
because it's
What was it?
not going on camera. Trust me.
Aw.
So you guys have been on the road together. No, you can put the camera on. That's not getting committed to film at all.
Aw.
So you guys have obviously been together, you're saying 6 years in total. You must know each other fairly well.
Yes.
So we're going to wrap up with a bit of how well do you know your bandmates.
I like it.
Nothing too nasty, but I'll throw a question to each of you about one of the other guys, and we'll see how accurate you guys are. So firstly, Rose on Katie. So what's Katie's favourite band?
Oh, hers.
Yeah.
Oh, that was easy. So you do know each other. That was easy. Katie on George. What would you say George's favourite food is?
He eats anything.
He's a bit of a like human hoover on it. Turds.
I'm sorry. What?
They're my favourite. His mum makes these little pastries. They're so yummy,
so good.
and they're just like this beautiful mix of
Lentils.
foresty things. Yeah, it's amazing. But I don't know.
She
She calls them
calls
Lentils,
turds.
mushrooms,
Yeah, anything that she makes.
carrot.
Anything that's veggie.
But they're officially known as turds. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, they're called
Yeah.
turds. Yeah, you make those sort of rolls out of them. They look
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There could be sideline business here for you then. George's turds and Pepsi in supermarkets.
Yeah.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
George on Max. What do you think Max would say is his most annoying habit?
Oh.
George or Max?
Spoiled
What
for
would
choice.
Max say is his most annoying habit? What would Max say like, oh, I'm sorry guys about like that?
I promise I won't do it again.
Can I ask a phone a friend?
You can.
Yeah.
Rose, what do you think?
Just called quickly. I
I
don't know.
don't know.
Oh, speeding.
Okay, I'll...
No, driving!
Ooh.
No, not driving, not
Oh, I was
driving.
gonna say,
No,
oh
like,
speeding up.
God.
Yes, tempo. God, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to
Oh,
lock
no,
in.
yeah, that's fair. No, yeah,
Tempo,
what's happened, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that your final answer?
yeah, sorry it was a bit fast, blah, 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 yeah.
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 Is that agreed with? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the
I'd
money.
say that, yeah.
Yeah, he does say that.
And last one for Max on Rose. What do you think Rose would say is her biggest phobia?
Oh, you all know
Yeah.
those.
Right, I don't know, last night she was really scared of a rat. But I don't know,
You're
like...
embarrassing.
It changes every day.
Yeah, there's just a lot.
How bad was the venue you played in last night?
It's alright, but it's a bit of a.
There's like a restaurant downstairs, so the rats were
Yeah.
kind of...
Nice. They were too
Yeah.
busy in the restaurant to come upstairs.
Yes!
Nice.
Yes,
I
exactly.
really don't like rats.
But I don't know what your
Spiders,
biggest phobia is.
Driving in rain.
That's it. That's the
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Driving in
it.
rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rained
Rose's
lots
biggest,
today.
biggest phobia would be spiders.
Spider.
Because
So
like,
just to clarify, your biggest phobia is spiders driving in rain. Is that?
They'd be like.
With a rat in the back seat as well.
Guys, listen. thank you very much for the access tonight. Thank you for the time. Have a
you.
wicked show.
Thank you
Enjoy the
very
rest
much.
of the tour. It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you for coming.
speaking to you.
Thank you for
Thank you
sharing.
very much.
Take care,
Cheers,
guys.
Thank you.